Hello and welcome to the Genuine Learning Blog. My name is Melissa Galasso, and today we're going to talk about a recent proposal by the FASB to further disaggregate expenses in disclosures for the income statement. So good news, this is only targeting public business entities. This is not targeting private companies and not-for-profit organizations, for which we are grateful, but we are addressing the needs of investors. This was actually the #1 request of investors during the invitation to comment regarding the FASB's agenda. And so the FASB is proposing some additional disclosures to further break down these expenses so that the investors are getting the information that they feel they need in order to better evaluate organizations. So we're going to take a look at the proposal. Again, it is very narrow. It is impacting public entities, but we do want to make sure that everyone's aware of the changes. So this was proposed on July 31st. So again, pretty late in the fiscal year as we go through this. And it was, again, the #1 goal of investors was to get more information around what's happening on the income statement. They feel that it provides a better understanding of performance when you're not just having, for example, SG&A, right? Selling, general, and administrative. In their opinion, those are three very different items, and lumping them together makes it harder to understand. They also believe it'll help address the understanding the entity's prospects for future cash flows, again, with the focus on that selling, and then comparing entities over time as well as with other entities. And so they want to be able to have better disaggregation. And so they want more granular information around SG&A so they can make these evaluations regarding cash flow. So there are new disclosures that are going to be required here. You're going to disclose the amount of inventory and manufacturing expenses, and we're going to come back to that line item again on the next slide. Employee compensation, depreciation, intangible asset amortization, depreciation, depletion, and amortization recognized for oil and gas producing activities. And so as we look at this, these would be the amounts included in each relevant expense caption. And an irrelevant expense caption would be an expense caption presented on the face of the statement, right? So when we're starting to combine things together, you would disclose how much for each of those relevant captions are coming from these specific line items as we go through it. In addition, we would further disaggregate that inventory and manufacturing, right, that first line from the prior slide, into purchases of inventory, employee compensation, depreciation, intangibles, and that DD&A for oil producing organizations. And these would either be those that were capitalized or, if not capitalized, into inventory expense directly, right? Expense as incurred. And you would also have to include a definition of what is other manufacturing expenses as part of this. In addition, there would be a disclosure of the qualitative description of the amount remaining in relevant expense captions or in inventory and manufacturing that are not disaggregated, so what's left over, so we could understand it. And then the total amount of selling on a individual on a interim as well as on an annual basis, the definition of what do you define as selling expenses. How are we going to go through this? So again, they're getting a little bit more granular, impacting those public entities, and so helping the investors get what they want, but not imposing any additional rules on private entities, for which we're grateful. They did not propose an effective date here, so this is, again, going to be based on the feedback that they receive, and they are going to do this prospectively with an option. If you really wanted to do retrospective for your comparative period, you could, but they are going to only require it on a prospective basis as they go through it, and they are asking for comments by October 30th, so a little bit of a longer period here to give some feedback. And again, just like we talked about in our last blog, we are giving you the survey link. So if you don't want to provide a full-on comment letter, you can still answer the relevant questions that are important to you and provide that feedback back to the FASB. All right, so that's a wrap on this week's blog. Thank you for joining, and I hope to see you on a future blog. Have a great day, guys. Bye-bye.